All right, welcome back everybody. So today is the day you're going to learn how to play Proud Mary by CCR and answer the question why whenever you try to play it, you know the chords, but it's just not sounding like you hear it on the record. We're going to answer the question why that is, and I'm going to show you what you need to do if you want to approximate that. Hey, if you haven't done so already, please jump down right now, click subscribe and ring the bell. The bell lets you know every time I drop new content, which I do every single week. All my videos have chapters in them, so you can jump right to the part of the lesson that you want to see and bypass what you don't. And if you're looking for other ways to support the channel, I really appreciate that. There's thanks, which is a button you can click right below. It's just like throwing a tip in the tip jar. Or you can join my Patreon page where I've got chord charts and tabs for all the lessons that I do like this on YouTube. All the links are in the description. Come check it out. Okay, so Proud Mary by Creedence Clearwater Revival and written by John Fogerty. And this is one of those songs that, you know, if you're sort of a fan of strum along guitar and classic rock, it's just it's a good tune, right? And you know when you're playing it along, you can just tell, you know, these are easy strum along chords. And like many people, when you start to do it, you're sort of like, kind of sounds like it, but something's wrong. So the reason is there's two different tuned guitars going on the whole time, okay? One guy is playing in standard tuning and one is playing in a drop D tuning. I'll go through the nuances of both of those, but that's why the main reason is that it's different. We're going to cover both of the rhythm guitar sections, you know, how it's played by both guitars, and the great lead that's played by John Fogerty on that as well. Okay, so let's talk about the standard tuning, just the basic. And by the way, if you just play with the standard tuned guitar live, it's still going to sound great. Okay, I'm just trying to get you to answer that question that I know has been in your head, right? But this sounds great when you have in standard tuning, right? So having said that, though this is tuned to standard tuning, it is a little flat of standard tuning, but all the intervals are the same. And it could be that they recorded the song, everyone was tuned perfectly, and they slowed the tape down at the end. Who knows? Which they did a lot in those days, right? Just to get an effect. But these are the notes to tune to if you want to be by the record. Okay, so there's what your E chord sounds like. And let's talk about the opening riff. So all these rhythm chords are your standard basic cowboy chords, but it's going to go like this. Okay, so C to A. And notice the right hand strum. There's a mute, there's a palm mute that you do. Mute. Mute. So these are all cowboy chords. So let me go back to that again. C to A. You can pick those up and just get an upstroke with the open strings. I think I hear that on there. G. And I like to get both of these notes on your G, the D and the G note there. F. And end on the D. And then it's just D all day long during the verses, right? And really the groove on this song is that right hand strum pattern with the mute. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, then it goes A, Same strum pattern. B minor. Back to your D. This is Rolling on the River. All right, and then you're back to your top again. And those are all the parts. They just sort of repeat throughout the verses and during the solo. That's played by Tom Fogerty. So the CCR, you know, has two brothers in it, John Fogerty, Tom Fogerty. Tom Fogerty plays the rhythm guitar in standard tuning. I don't know exactly what guitar he used, but I saw him a lot live. Well, I didn't see them live. I've seen film of them live. And he's got sort of I think it's a Guild maybe, but it's this sort of 335-ish semi-hollow format guitar. So that's the sort of sound that I think is closest to it. I'm set on the middle pickup. Tone is all clean. No dirt going on at all. And so that's really the rhythm part for the whole time on the standard tuning. So now let's talk about John Fogerty's part that he's playing on a detuned guitar. Okay, now John Fogerty used a black Les Paul Custom. Pretty much all the songs that he used that guitar on, he did this tuning. So there's a number of other songs that utilize this sort of combined detuning. And actually the first video I did on the channel 2 years ago talks about 3 of the songs that he did this tuning on, which I'll link right here in case you're interested if you haven't seen that. But yeah, he used a Les Paul Custom and it was tuned down a whole step. So all the intervals between the strings are the same, but it's tuned all the way down. So instead of your low string being an E, your low string is now a D. And it's actually, again, just south or flat of a D because, you know, they have to be, the guitars are in tune with each other on this song. So again, this is how it is to the record. So these are your notes to tune to. So here's your 6th string. 5th string, 4th string, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. Right? So when you play an E-shaped chord with that, that's actually a D. Got your mind around that? Okay, so what this means in effect is because you're tuned down a step, let's just call it, you're still going to be using cowboy-shaped chords for everything, but you sort of need to move everything up a step in your chord shape to match the pitch of what the other guitar is playing. So if you wanted to play a C-pitched chord in this tuning, you know, that's what you're used to on a C, but you would have to slide that up, which is a D, right? Two frets. So that's a C-pitched chord in this tuning, right? And if you wanted to play a D-pitched chord in this tuning, same rule applies. You would slide that, think about it in your head, sliding it up. Well, what is that? Well, that's an E. One step up from a D is an E. So when you play an E shape, you're playing a D-pitched chord. Confused yet? Okay, it's okay. So anyway, with this tuning, here is how you play the opening riff then with this tuning, right? Right? And you can kind of hear that now, right? So now when you're playing in this tuning, you can kind of, something might be clicking for you of like, yeah, I can hear that now. I can hear that on the record. That is different. It's the combination of this playing along with the standard tune guitar that gives you that great Creedence sound on those songs, right? So at the same time that someone's playing this, the other guitar is playing a D shape, you know, standard tune, and the mix of those gives you that great sound. Okay, so again, So your chords in this shape, I'm gonna call them out by the chord shapes that we're used to. Okay, D, B, and I'm doing the same thing where I pick up, you know, after the B chord, B-shaped chord, right before I go back. I think I hear that. I think that's going on. Maybe both guitars don't do it. Maybe only one guitar does it, but it feels like one guitar at least is doing that. Then it's A shape. And with the G, I'm gonna pick that up because I hear that. Yeah, and it's this, I think it's this guitar that's doing that. Because on the other shape, the other guitar, you're playing an F there. And when you pick up, you know, when you pick up your finger there to try and approximate that, you can't get that note, that D note. So it's, and then your E chord. Now it's an E-shaped song, right? To your B now, B shape. C sharp minor shape. Right? So those are all the parts. So that in combination with the other guitar is giving you the sound that you're used to hearing on this great record, okay? Now let's talk about the little lead parts that happen on here. And this was another giveaway for me when I was listening to this with fresh ears years ago of like, oh, that's why this sounds the way it does, right? This little riff here, that's totally an E-shaped riff, right? If you're in D and you're playing that, you know, you could do it. You know, I guess well, I don't have the other guitar, but you would be playing it from this shape. And you can do it. It sounds close, but you can hear the pop of the sort of all the high strings, the third and first string. But that's another sort of clue that that's what's going on here. So that's how you play that little riff. When it goes to the C sharp minor, you know, so you're at that 4th fret, you know, here's your chord shape, you're just barring across, and you're really, for this riff, you're playing the 5th and the 4th string. Sorry, 5th, 4th, and then you transfer over to the 4th, 3rd. That's 5th, 4th, then and end on your D note, but 7th fret on the 5th string. Again, if you were playing this in standard tuning, you'd be in a standard B minor shape, right? But it would be these notes, right? So from this part, do that A too, or just the normal A. All right, now we get to the great guitar solo. Okay, and this is in E, in a E-shaped pattern, I should say, right? So where that comes in, it's going to be built off of your major bar chord, or major mini bar chord, your E-shaped chord at the 7th fret. Why don't I say that, right? And we're going to slide up. And this is the Jimi Hendrix world, right? So you're leading with the major 3rd of your chord. But I'll just run through the solo here. Sort of alternate between your Keith Richards can do that every time or every other time. You can, you know, you don't stress the second string, but you're just playing with that little part of it on top of the chord. Slide up to 12 and 13 on your third and second string, because that's a part of an E-shaped chord there. So we're playing, again, pitch of D, but in the shapes of E. Pretty little change there. And notice, because we're tuned down, the strings are looser and they sound different, right? And it sounds closer to the record, right? Go up again. Okay, so we're transitioning from this shape to this one. And then there's a couple ways you can end this, right? I think what he's doing, like conceptually what he's doing, is he's taking a triad here, moving down to this triad. And you can move down and play, again, same strings on this shaped, E-shaped chord, triad. Right? Or you could do, but I think the right way on the record is, I think I hear that. I think I hear that open. But either way will work. And I sort of like that way because it's just a simple flow of triad, triad, triad. Okay, then the next chords that are happening are a B-shaped chord. And so what you're going to do is your solo is just picking up and going up and down sort of the part of the B chord here on, starting on 4th fret G. So your notes are right for that first part. Sort of picking and muting, picking as you're going. Then the next chord is your C sharp minor shape. And you're going to just come up. So it's just climbing the notes in the scale of each of those chords. That's a B major. C sharp minor. And it's just the picking pattern that you use. Now what's interesting when you really listen to it, it really is just those notes. But with all of the rhythm and the, you know, the little drum ghost notes and the rhythm guitars happening, it sort of gives the feel like there's a whole lot more going on. Like there's a Chet Atkins. Or something like that. Maybe it's just me, but it sort of feels like that, but it really isn't what he's playing. It's just that top part. And that's all it needs, and it just fills it in perfectly, and everything probably, you know, if you were to do a hybrid picking thing like that, it would probably muddy it up, right? So that's the perfect part to play in that song, and that's what landed on the recording. All right, well, that's Proud Mary by Creedence Clearwater Revival, and I hope you learned something new today. If you like this kind of thing and you haven't done so yet, please jump down and click subscribe and ring the bell. The bell lets you know when I drop new content, which I do every single week. And let me know in the comments what you thought about this, and if there's another song you want me to take on and do something similar, let me know that too. Okay, well, until next week, take care, everybody.